Hey guys, Coach Castle here. Today is going to be a little bit of a longer video. It's been a while since I've posted videos, although I've been keeping up with my social media, writing articles, and working on 2 new books. I haven't been posting videos because I've recently moved to Rhode Island. I'm expanding my company in Boston, and just lots of stuff going on for the last few months, so sorry about that. So what I'm going to do today is put up a comprehensive video explaining how myself and my thousands of clients over the past 10 or 12 years have made the most amazing progress, the most efficient progress, and why they get to A to B in only a few months or maybe a year instead of grinding every single day for an hour or more hoping to lose fat and build muscle. Why my clients only train 45 minutes to an hour per week as opposed to doing that per day. Why my clients get results 5 to 6 times faster than the average bodybuilder, gym bro, and considerably faster than the average person. There are rules and parameters which go with exercise and nutrition, supplementation, hormones, skill acquisition, and many other things which I teach. When you understand these principles, your life, lifestyle, exercises, everything dramatically changes for the better. And you start seeing weekly progress, weekly body changes in measurements, and your fat loss, and your strength. So let's get into how and why I train my clients the way I do. Now today, I'm only going to be getting into specifically exercise. I'm not going to be discussing nutrition, nor breath work, nor sleep hygiene, supplementation, hormones, skill acquisition, goal setting, none of that stuff today, although that is of course extremely important with my clients, and that also leads to them making such tremendous gains so rapidly. The more things are in place in your life, the better. But of course, I teach all of these things to every client, so of course that's the compound effect. But today we're just talking about exercise and why my clients make such rapid progress with their physique training my way, which seems out there to some. But as you're about to see, I have all the receipts. So, to start with, when you go to the gym, your objective is to either build size, endurance, strength, or lose fat. If we're trying to do these things, there is a best way, and then there are less efficient versions. If you are attempting, let's say, to build your bicep, do you think it's more efficient to perform 4 different exercises for that bicep as opposed to 1? If you said yes, here we go again. We're going to keep getting into it. We're going to dig a little deeper. Let's say it's arm day. Arm day for me means I have to train my bicep, my tricep, my rear delt, my lateral delt, my front delt, and my forearms. That's 6 movement patterns I have to do. Each one of those movement patterns I perform 1 perfect exercise for. That perfect exercise is perfect because it is within the correct resistance curve. I am maximally using my levers to the greatest effect. I'm not doing any detrimental things, such as using momentum, active insufficiency, passive insufficiency, neurological inhibition. None of these are coming into play. The movement for the muscle is as perfect as it can be. What that means is the muscle is pulling insertion to origin in a straight line. Muscles can only pull in a straight line. So if I was to take a rope, tie it around a box, and pull it, I could only pull the box towards myself. I can't push it away with the rope. I can't move it to one side or the other unless I physically move myself over there and pull the rope towards me. This is how all muscles, skeletal muscles, contract. They contract in a straight line. That contraction shortens the muscle via what is known as muscle sliding theory, which is a chemical reaction which causes these straight muscle fibers to pull themselves past one another, which is why when you do a bicep curl, your bicep gets big, and when you lengthen it, it gets small again. That's why the muscles have contracted or bunched up. Now, because of this, when they're in their most bunched up or contracted state, they're very weak. So you want to have little to less load in that position. When they're elongated, they are maximally strong they have the greatest ability to generate force. Therefore, that's where you want to start the movement for every muscle on your body. And again, pull in a straight line. And at the halfway point, you should essentially have 100% lever, or the weight or load is as far from the body as is possible at a midway portion of the movement. A little complicated that, but essentially the correct resistance curve. Body locomotion, walking, grabbing something, breathing, occurs because your muscles are contracting and lengthening, or concentrically contracting and eccentrically contracting, or getting shorter or lengthening. And of course, there's isometric, where the muscle is just held, fixed in place, a static hold. The lowest form of muscle contraction doesn't really build muscle, that one. But anyways, the reason this movement occurs in the human body is because the muscle crosses one joint, think like a door hinge, or maybe multiple joints. And when it contracts, it moves and articulates these joints towards one another. In the case of the bicep, here's the joint, here's a lever, here's a lever, here would be the weight. The bicep starts here, it ends here, and it contracts, lifting up the forearm, essentially. Now, it can only do that within a correct, ideal resistance curve for maximum benefit. Anything outside of that, ergo active insufficiency or passive insufficiency or using momentum, is not as productive. Active and passive insufficiency are essentially when the muscle is pre-contracted or pre-lengthened before beginning the movement, which will lower its ability to generate force, as well as increasing the risk of tearing the muscle, damaging yourself in a non-productive way. All muscles have developed evolutionary-wise, along with humans and along with gravity. So of course physics come into play in here, lever magnification. So because I'm holding the weight here, and there is a lever associated before the muscle connects, whatever I'm holding in my hand is magnified by 12 inches. Now that magnification comes into play once again during that resistance curve. So we want to keep it not pre-contracted as a preacher curl, not good for the biceps, and not pre-stretched and incline bicep curl, again, not as productive. You want to have it the way evolution has designed your body, or neutral, while standing with the elbow about 10 degrees in front of your spine. This will give you the best muscle contraction for your bicep. If you want to make it even better, you twist your wrist, as one of the bicep muscles actually goes and is responsible for rotating your forearm. So this will actually give you a full muscle contraction. Just the bicep we're talking about here. But you guys get the idea. There is a best way to contract every muscle. Furthermore, what matters is not how many sets, not how many reps, not how much time you spend in the gym. What matters is how much time the muscle is under tension. Muscle being under tension is misunderstood, I think, generally speaking. To keep it simple, when a muscle is contracting or shortening, or I'm lifting up the weight for a bicep curl, it is roughly 3 to 4 times weaker than when I'm lowering it. So what that means is if I'm lowering or eccentrically lowering the weight, I want to be moving 3 to 4 times slower than I raised it. And when I raised it for explosivity benefits as well as engaging more muscle fibers, I want to do it as fast as possible. So if I'm doing bicep curls, I'll be using dumbbells or cables so as to avoid bilateral deficit, which is when you're using a shared implement like a barbell or an easy curl. It limits range of motion. If you have a lagging muscle group, it stays a lagging muscle group because the other arm compensates. And you don't get carryover benefit, which is where you use one arm. And neurologically, even if you didn't use this one, it gets some carryover benefit from training this arm muscle. Pretty cool stuff. But that's why you use cables or dumbbells, never barbells. So anyways, I would be doing my, dumbbell or cable bicep curl. I would be lifting it very rapidly, as fast as I could, and I'd be lowering it for 4 to 5 seconds, generally, depending on my style of training that day. It might be more, it might be less, depending on what I'm aiming for that day. How I know what I'm aiming for is what style of training I'm doing. So there's 3 styles of training you can do to grow your muscles. 3. First style would be sarcoplasmic. Second would be myofibril. And third would be a hybrid of the two. So sarcoplasmic training essentially is increasing the sarcoplasmic fluid within the muscle, stretching out the surrounding fascia, breaking it, causing more room essentially for more sarcoplasmic fluid, more myofibril growth. Strength-based training would be heavy load on the muscle, few repetitions, as rapidly as possible, the all or nothing contraction principle with the muscles. All types of muscle fibers are being used and they are being maximally engaged. This is going to cause the myofibrils to split and or thicken, therefore increasing your actual strength. And hybrid is a combination of both of these. So what you guys want to do is either kind of always do hybrid style training. I don't recommend that, it's not as efficient, or bounce back and forth between all three styles of training. If you're doing sarcoplasmic style of training, you want to focus on, again, same movements, same perfect movements, one per muscle group with high quality, no momentum, following the neurological principles I laid out earlier. And you want to be doing, say again, your bicep curl. For me, it would be like 15 pounds for a large number of reps, 50 to 80 reps in a row. That would be a set. If it was strength day, it'd be 45, 50 pounds, 5 to 8 reps. Maximum, everything maximum though, like to near failure. That's the important thing I'm about to get into in just a minute. And when I'm doing these movements on strength day, I'm a little bit more focused on the lowering or the lengthening, the time spent eccentric contraction. And on the sarcoplasmic day, I'm a little bit more focused on speed. I'm not as focused on that time under tension. But either way, if I'm doing biceps this way, my time under tension is going to be 3 to 4 times greater. More damage is going to be done than the person who went to the gym, did 4 different bicep exercises. Say they did preacher curl, hammer curl, easy curl, and cable curl for their biceps. What does that mean? It means they're doing 4 different exercises, so they have to actually save gas in the tank to be able to get through all 4 exercises. That means none of the exercises are being done with sufficient intensity to cause muscle growth. Whereas if you only do one exercise, the perfect one, I don't know why you would do something other than the perfect one, but one perfect exercise with maximum time under tension, it is far superior because you're taking it to near failure. Your muscle quite literally cannot do any more. So if you tried to do 2 sets of the perfect bicep curl to near failure, and then you went to do a third, it's going to drop by 50%. That's because your muscle cannot take anymore. And at this point in time, you would be overtraining. The problem is people don't understand the principle of intensity when it comes to training. They think more time in the gym, more exercises, more sets, more volume is more productive. It's not. It's wasting time. And that's because none of the sets are performed with the correct intensity to cause muscle growth. You're also having substantially less time under tension than you would if you followed the correct principles for concentric and eccentric training. Considerably less. And again, you're just spending a lot of time doing not a whole lot. So you have to take it to near failure. What happens when you take it to near failure is that's basically optimal intensity provided you're training every 3 to 4 days. Now, of course, that training every 3 to 4 days implies that you are consuming enough protein, you are sleeping enough, your hormones are optimized, etc., so you can repair your body and supercompensate. If you try to exercise your bicep again before those 3 or 4 days, your muscle will not have had time to recover and actually come back stronger. How do you know that? It's because if you were actually performing things correctly with perfect form, week 1, you'd do biceps with 20 pounds and you'd get 10 reps. And then you go back to train it 2 days later, you do the same thing, 20 pounds, you'd get 9 reps or 10 reps, unless you're cheating and using momentum. Why? It's because the muscle has not super recovered. But how about if you wait 4 or 5 days and then you train the bicep again? The bicep actually had time to recover and grow more myofibrils or thicken them or get more sarcoplasmic fluid. So you will then be able to do 20 reps for 11, 12, 13 reps. You should be doing that every workout and weekly. And if your numbers and reps are not continuously progressing, either you're training incorrectly, your nutrition and or hormones and sleep is off, or you're sick, maybe something's wrong with you. You should see weekly progress with your body, muscle growth, measurements, everything, etc. If you're not seeing these weekly results, you're either not tracking, which means you probably don't care that much, or you're not doing stuff right. We all know those people who go to the gym daily and they do not change. Most bodybuilders, past their first 5 or 6 years of training, do not really change without the aid of massive amounts of drugs. That's because they don't ever train more intelligently. They just spend even more time in the gym. The more time you spend in the gym, the less time you have to recover. You spending a lot of the time in the gym does not equate to you making progress. What does make progress is forcing the muscle to do something it has not done before within a perfect resistance curve, with the correct loading depending which of the 3 styles of training you would like to accomplish, and with the correct intensity and frequency. Provided that is occurring, your nutrition, supplementations, hormone, and sleep is on point, you will make visible progress from one workout to the next, week to week. And you should be, as I do, as all of my clients do. Now, anyone who doubts this, I can very easily just anecdotally say, for myself, I am 220 pounds. I am 6'2". I have built 65 pounds of muscle these past 10 years with 15 to 20-minute workouts. My YouTube channel is getting quite old now, and it has thousands of videos of me doing exactly this for years. I'm not sneaking in deadlifts or squats or overhead press or bench press or something. I'm not like sneaking that in. I'm doing exactly the best, most intelligent things for the least amount of time. All of my online clients only see me 3 or 4 days a week. All of them only have 30-minute sessions except for a few which have an hour. Within that time, they get fully educated comprehensively about exercise, nutrition, breath work, supplementation, sleep hygiene, hormones, and again, much more. They get a comprehensive plan, they see weekly results, and then I'm done coaching them after 5 or 6 months, and I move on to help someone else. I don't need to keep coaching them because either they have achieved their desired physique and or acquired the knowledge necessary, or they've acquired the knowledge necessary and they're good to do it on their own. They're not handcuffed to me. They don't need gyms. Gyms are unnecessary if you understand how to train properly using biomechanics. Everything I've said is non-debatable. These are laws of physics, laws of neurology, and laws of biochemistry. I implore anyone who thinks I'm wrong about anything I said in this video, contact me, DM me, tell me where I'm wrong and supply evidence. I would be delighted to be proven wrong because then I could make even more efficient progress. But I find the people who are tooting the most that you have to spend hours and hours and hours in the gym and you have to do heavy squats, bench press, and deadlift, these are always the guys who are injured and miserable and unhappy in their lives. These are the guys who actually don't look very good. They're not impressive. And even if they do look okay, it is generally the result of drugs. And if it's not, they have spent considerably more hours, time, years in the gym than is necessary to achieve their physique. So I'm very pleased that they achieved that physique. I wish they could have learned better sooner so they could have spent an hour in the gym per week instead of 8. Think of the other 7 hours. You could have been studying a new language. You could have been making yourself better by acquiring new skills. You could have been acquiring wealth and resources. This is why I have time to acquire so many skills and to do all of the things that I do. My workouts only take up about an hour and a half per week at the most. That's why. Same thing with everything else I try to do in my life. I do it as efficiently as possible to have as most time as possible to myself for relaxing, self-reflection, and improving my life. The same thing I recommend for all of my clients. Maximize your time, maximize not necessarily your happiness, but maximize your ability to be content. Maximize your gratitude. Maximize your resources, maximize your skill sets, maximize these sorts of things. It's a lot easier than people would leave you to believe. There's no need to be following different diets. Humans should only be eating one way depending on their mouth bacteria and microbiome, but even with that, there is one efficient way for humans to be eating. I'm going to be doing that in another video soon covering nutrition and the best possible way to eat as a human. And of course, I'll be giving you all of the evidence, just like I did in this video. And I hope you guys found this very helpful. I am, just to update you, I'm loving my new company in Boston. I am loving my new home in Rhode Island. I'm in the process of all kinds of projects. I have 2 books. I'm building a log cabin. I'm setting up the Boston facility. I am expanding my company to other areas of the world. I am, always writing articles and doing a million things. So very pleased to be back. Pleased to make this good video for you guys. I hope you found it helpful. And any questions you guys may have in the comments. And if you guys want to leave negative comments, which I know some of you are going to leave after watching this video, go ahead and try to leave the negative comment. Just try to be polite and civil. And I would even more appreciate it if you could provide evidence for your point of view. Because if you put an opinion in the comments and it has no evidence to back it up, I'm going to completely ignore you. There's no reason to listen to you. I've been doing this for 12 years. I'm well studied in paleoanthropology, biomechanics, biochemistry, and many other domains. I love what I do. I love educating people. I love getting this information out. I love freeing up people's times and getting them where they want to go really quickly. I love expanding my own knowledge base and skill set. And I hope all you guys do too. So hopefully I'll be back a little bit more on YouTube. But thank you all. And always remember, give it a like. Subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video with someone who you think might benefit from it.